Donna J. Donnan presents Ask Donna, a weekly podcast on a plethora of topics and tips. Donna's podcast is split into 4 distinct sub-podcasts. The first week of the month is where Donna hosts her Ask the Bloggers podcast on such topics as overcoming bullies and bullying, tips on entrepreneurship, and protecting oneself from scams and scammers. The second week of the month is where Donna hosts her Ask the Coach podcast. A bit of this, a bit of that from her monthly Did You Know diary. The third week of the month is where Donna hosts her Ask the Homemaker podcast. Tips on everyday hints to help you take advantage of natural remedies and solutions. And the fourth week of the month is where Donna's podcast is all about her product review and a book review. Sit back and enjoy.
Hello. It's Donna J. Jodhan, your host for the Ask Donna podcast. And it is the third week of April. My goodness, where are we going? Where are we speeding to? I cannot keep up with April. It's turning out to be not a too bad a month, but you know what? I'm already looking forward to planting season in May, where I get to plant my beloved flowers on my balcony in my condo. But let's deal with April first, and let's thank everybody for joining in, listening to me, continuing to listen to me, and for your thoughts, your feedback, your comments, your suggestions, everything. Thank you. Keep them coming to me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. That is askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com, or to my personal email address, which is Donna Jodhan, DonnaJodhan @gmail.com. You can also obtain a copy of my show notes when you listen to my YouTube podcast. And you can also write to me and ask me to send you a copy of the show notes. Okay? All you need to do is write to me and put in the subject line which week and which month you wish to have me send it to you. And I will be more than happy to send it to you. And I'll be more than happy to interact with you as well at no cost. I can phone you anywhere in North America, or I can set up a Zoom link, or do a FaceTime, or do a WhatsApp. You see, so many different choices for you. Right then, I got to thank my little brother, Michael Ciuccello in Montreal. Thank you, Michael, for continuing to produce my podcasts and to offer words of wisdom to me. Okay? So for the first 2 weeks of April, we had Ask the Blogger, where I dealt with things like bullying, entrepreneurship, and scams and scammers, tips on how to deal with them. My tips on bullying had to do with dealing with bullies and bullying, and my section on scams and scammers was all about dealing with scams and scammers. Entrepreneurship, there were tips on how I dealt with my own entrepreneurship and continue to do so, and tips that I've gathered over the years from other people, friends, and associates. That was week 1. Week 2 was Ask the Sight Loss Coach, Donna Jodhan, and that was last week. And for that week, what we did is we delved into a bit of this and a bit of that from Donna's Did You Know diary for the month of April. And for this week, it's all about Ask Donna, the Homemaker. Okay? So what do we have in store for you for Ask the Homemaker? Before we dive into this section, I want to answer some questions that I randomly pulled from my email bag, my question bag as I like to call it, and let's share these with you. Here's the question. Uses for Vaseline Petroleum Jelly. And we highlighted this last month, so someone wanted to ask me to give them some highlights of using Vaseline Petroleum Jelly. You can use Vaseline Petroleum Jelly to repair stains, rings, and minor scratches in wood furniture. You would be amazed to know how often we are not very nice to our wood furniture, and we inflict on our poor wood furniture minor scratches, rings, okay, and stains. So what you do is just you dab a wee bit of petroleum jelly on any of these, and then you gently wipe away. Leave it be, let it stand for about an hour or two, and then wipe it away with a piece of paper towel. You'll be amazed to see how it works. And if it doesn't work the first time, try it a second time. Okay? You cover each scratch, stain, or ring with a liberal coat of petroleum jelly. And then you do the rest, let it stand, and then you wipe gently away. And another question was someone asking, how do you remove chewing gum from your hair? Why would you want to put chewing gum in your hair is amazing, but kids do it all the time. Okay, so you got to help these little guys out by removing chewing gum from their hair. Okay, what you do is you apply petroleum jelly into the hair and gently work it in until the gum slides off. It works. It works. I saw it work about a month ago. One of my friends had a little kid and this little girl decided that she wanted gum in her hair. Then she called out to her mom, "Mom, I put gum in my hair." So the mom came along, and good thing she had read my tip on petroleum jelly, using petroleum jelly to remove gum from the hair. She applied the petroleum jelly and worked with it, just worked with the petroleum jelly in the hair until the gum slid off. Okay? All right, let's move on. My feature for this week is some ways to get rid of ants without killing them. And what I will tell you is that I'll give you some tips to start with. And if you need more help, write to me. Ask me for the complete list as to how to get rid of ants without killing them. Happy to send it to you, okay? Don't be afraid. All right. Okay, number 1. You bust out the vinegar, and here's what you do. And baby ants, I'm telling you, communicate with each other. Oh, sorry. Let's start again. If you want to start, okay, here's the first tip. You bust out your vinegar and spray it lightly on the surface. And you would see how quickly these little guys scurry away. Did you know, number 2, that ants communicate with each other using sounds, touch, and the golden ticket? Okay? Did you know that? I didn't. Yeah. So they communicate with each other through touch, through sound, and the golden ticket. Okay? And here is what the golden ticket is. Hormones. Okay? The hormones are chemical signals, scent trails. What they are, they're scent trails in essence. All right? So these little guys, these little ants, have ways of communicating with each other through touch, through sound, and through scent trails. Ants perceive scents with their antennae, believe it or not. And they can determine direction and intensity of scents. If the forager ant finds food, it marks where it has found the food. It marks where it has found the food and the trail leading back to the colony, which the other ants then follow to the source of the food. All right? So when a foraging ant finds food, it creates a trail back to the colony of ants. And then the ants can follow this trail, okay? And they will find the food. Each time that the trail is traveled, the scent intensifies. And by using white vinegar to all of the entrances, of their paths and their trails, that you know of, you can disrupt their scent trails. And it makes it harder for them to creep back to the food source. And they stop invading. Okay? So, what you can do is when you discover what these little trails are that these ants are using, because they have created the trails, by the foraging ant, making these trails back to the colony, and then they're using their antennae, sense of smell, or their sense to travel the trails. And the more they travel these trails, the greater the scent intensifies. If you know these trails or these paths, sprinkle white vinegar, okay, along the trails and at the entrances, and you'll stop them cold in their paths. Okay? So that is one way to stop the invasion of ants. Okay? So now for number 2. Okay. Here is what you will need before we go to number 2 for your for this tip. 1 part of white vinegar, 1 part of water. So half and half of vinegar and water. A clean cloth, and away you go. And here are the directions that you would need. Mix together your white vinegar and your water and spray or wipe down all of the entrances where you suspect these little guys are entering. And spray or wipe down all counter surfaces as well. Okay? This should help you get rid of these little ants. Number 2, drawing the line. Have you ever noticed that outside in the summer, the way that ants, they get into big trouble when ants and white chalk don't seem to mix? Have you ever noticed that in the summer? You may not have noticed it, but true to form, it is so. This is because ants do not do very well with chalk. Ants that stumble through chalk, okay, get covered in the white chalk. But other people may suggest that the reason why this is that because of the minerals of the white chalk, that they get into trouble when they stumble through it. In the chalk, we've got talc. And the talc actually kills the ants. So sometimes you can't avoid killing the ants. But in the chalk there is talc, and the talc actually kills the ants. Okay? Here's what you will need. A stick of sidewalk chalk, and the directions: draw a heavy, thick line with your chalk around the entrances and repeat as needed. This generally needs to be used in conjunction with another method of elimination. Okay? So you're using your chalk, but you're using probably your vinegar as well. Okay? Number 3, the ant honey pot. Okay. How to get rid of these ants? Let's see how the honey pot works. If you've done everything that you can to get rid of these little guys, and it is not working, here's a third thing that you can try. If eliminating them is not doing the trick, okay, you don't want to attract the ants to your house. But if the colony has set up camp, diversion can be sometimes the way to go. All right? They've set up their little colony. They're persistent and insistent in getting into your home. Here is something else you can do to divert their attention. Once these little guys have decided that the honey pot that you have laid out is better than that hard-to-reach food that you have locked up, it is very easy to deter them from something from coming back into your home. After you have cleaned up their scent trails, of course, and after you have sealed your food tightly, and you've put some kind of deterrent at the entrances, they will not be as apt to come marching in again if you use a honey pot. Even if they try, they're going to find that you have found a new weapon for them. Okay? So, here is what you will need. Okay? A small paper bowl. Okay? A few tablespoons of honey, or in equal parts a mixture of sugar and water. All right? And here are the directions. Okay? Place the paper bowl with the honey a little ways outside from your home, but not so far that the ants would not find it. Once they find the sweet stuff, they will happily go to that. rather than trying to battle their way into your house. You can also mix some sugar and water in equal parts and spray this on the ground if you find that the honey is ineffective. Once these little ants have discovered the pot, move it a little bit at a time, further and further away from the house, refilling and refreshing the little bowl as needed. This is your ant honey pot. Okay? So, if you want a complete copy of these tips from me, the homemaker, for the 3rd week of April, please write to me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com or my personal email address, donnajodhan@gmail.com. Okay? These are really interesting tips, especially in the summer, because these little guys love to come out in the summer. All right? Okay, folks, this is it for me for this week. Ask the Homemaker, 3rd week of April. Again, if you want a copy of these tips, do not hesitate to contact me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com or donnajodhan@gmail.com. And I'd be more than happy to send a copy to you. Just put in the subject line, 3rd week of April, tips on getting rid of ants. Or just put 3rd week of April and I'll know what you're referring to. All right? Great. Have a great rest of the day, a great rest of the week, and we will see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for dropping by. Thank you, Michael. And we'll talk to you then. Stay safe, stay well, and bye for now.
That's it for this week. Donna hopes that you enjoyed her podcast today. She thanks you for having taken the time to tune in and looks forward to being with you next week. Send your thoughts and feedback to Donna at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com.